Hey guys, welcome back. Last time we processed a bunch of Call lumber for the acoustic builds that we're going to do. Today we're going to look at one of the tools we're going to need throughout the acoustic building process to help in clamping all the weird shapes that we're going to have to clamp during the build process. So we're going to build this GoBar deck. And you can see it's made out of some black pipe. This is 3/4 inch pipe that I used for the legs, and it's threaded on both ends. Your home centers will cut these to length and they will thread them for you. So I had a piece of 10-foot pipe cut into 4 pieces, so they're just a little bit over like 28, 29 inches. The next thing I did was use some flanges up on the top and the bottom side. So on the bottom side, we're using a 3/4 inch flange that these legs can thread into. On the top side, we're using a 1-inch flange so that the pipe can pass through the flange. On that 1-inch flange, we're welding on a 1-inch collar. And we have to open the collar up just a little bit. I'll show you how I did that. And then weld it to the 1-inch flange that's up here. I also used some thumb screws in place of the original grub screws that were in these collars, and that's just so I can easily loosen them and then raise or lower the top deck of this GoBar deck. You can see the green gaffer tape that I have here, and that's just to let me know where the optimum position is with nothing else on here. So if you're just gluing flat on the bottom surface, that's where this green tape is. And then as you stack things up, you just kind of want to move this up a little bit so the GoBars aren't pressing too hard. The last thing, I didn't get good CNC action on making the recesses for the flanges, but just know there's a recess that's the right size for the flange, and then the hole to allow the actual flange of the flange to poke through on the bottom deck, and then the pipe to poke through on the top deck. We're making pieces for the GoBar deck, and I bought these collars. It's a 1-inch shaft collar, and if you see this one, it's split so that I could open it up, and then I welded it to this 1-inch flange, and that's also, it'll fit around some black pipe because that's what I'm going to use for the structure of my GoBar deck. And then there's a set screw here so you can move them up and down. So the first operation is to split these things like you see here, and then we're going to open them up. There we go, just split through there. Second operation is we just take a beat up old screwdriver here, hammer it through, and then we're going to open it up just a little bit extra, both sides. There we go. Decent fit there. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to use our set screw. So now I'll buzz off the edge here of both pieces so I have a nice clean edge to weld. The last thing we're going to do here is weld around the edge. I'll spot it in about 4 spots so it doesn't move on me, and then I'll run a bead around it. There we go. We'll just grind that down, make it look a little prettier. So here's the pieces I'm going to use for the base of the GoBar deck. This was a mess up, so by default it gets used just kind of as laminating stock. And then down here I have my flanges mounted, and they have the same holes as these right here, and they just line up better. So I've got my 4 3/4 inch floor flanges mounted. I'm going to put some glue down on this surface here, and then this surface will be glued to that surface. And I've already drilled for fasteners along there, so that's how I'm going to keep it together. I've got my top CNC'd now, so it's got 4 recesses like this for the flanges that we welded up earlier. And I'm making sure that my grub screws, I've got 2 pointed this way and the other 2 point that way. And I've got some thumb screws on order, so that'll mean that, you don't have to fight the thumb screws. They all just kind of point one of 2 ways. So I'm gonna get these screwed in and we'll be done with this part. So there's the finished product in terms of the deck there, glued together and screwed. And then the top, I may need to put another piece on here just to stiffen it up so when all the pressure from the GoBars is on there, it doesn't bow in the middle as much. But I also have the big idea here, right, is that we can take this thing apart. So these clips fit this pipe. So you should be able to pull this top off, unscrew the posts, and then I'll have clips on the bottom. And I guess I could put them up here too, but the big idea is this cube takes up a lot of space in my workshop, and I don't have a huge workshop here. So I wanted to be able to break it down. So that's what it's going to be able to do. For the tension rods on the GoBar deck, I just bought these. They're like 4 foot long driveway markers or road markers. They're just fiberglass rods for marking things when it snows, so you can see the edge of them. There's a little reflective strip. And I'm just cutting them down to, what is it, about 22 inches, somewhere in there. And it's about the perfect size for the height I have on my GoBar deck. A little bit of waste, not bad. On the cut ends of the fiberglass rods, I bought these little black tips. I think they're 1/4 inch black tips, and they come in bags of 50, so there was plenty to cover the ends of all the rods I cut. I'm excited that this build will break down. Again, I have a very small shop here, and just having this large 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot volume takes up a lot of room in the shop. So being able to break this down into a very flat, so it'll be 2 foot by 2 foot by maybe 3 or 4 inches, will be better for me. I haven't yet installed the retainers for the pipes. I will have Amazon links for these clips and any other hardware that I've shown in this video in case you want to build your own version of this GoBar deck. I know this was a shorter video than normal, a little bit different format, building tools instead of guitars, but anyone who's going to undertake an acoustic guitar build is going to need to build something like a GoBar deck. So I thought it'd be worthwhile to let you behind the scenes in my head to see how I designed the one that I'm going to be using. Hopefully everybody found that helpful. Until next time, take care everybody.
If you would like more guitar-related content, click that subscribe button. If you want to follow the rest of this build, click the playlist to the right. And as always, visit skyscraperguitars.com for guitar tools and accessories.